Your words are a magnet. Never forget that. What you speak is a magnet. It draws things to your life. So what your mouth speaks draws things to your life. You use them very carefully. That's the topic. Your words are a magnet. See, many people use words very carelessly. You get into a frustration and you say, I think I'm finished. Those words are strong. You are dealing with something that probably you're not understanding how to come out of a certain circumstance, and then you start calling yourself confused. I think I am confused. Your words are a magnet. They will attract the demonic spirit dimension to what you spoke. So when you start calling yourself confused, then with time a demonic force will show up to literally manifest what you said. If you start saying you're finished, then you will attract a demonic entity that will begin to orchestrate and execute the plan to bring what you say to manifestation. If you begin saying, I think I am very broke, I am poor, then the same thing happens. Your words are a magnet. So be very careful about how you use your words. This is what I want to talk to you about today. It's a very important discussion. Never at any point allow your mouth to draw into your life the things that are undesirable, the things that you don't like. And we see this in the Bible in 1 Kings chapter 2 verse 28 to 31. It says, when the news reached Joab, who had conspired with Adonijah, though not with Absalom, he fled to the tent of the Lord and took hold of the horns of the altar. I mean, that was okay, because he was running to the house of God, to the house of refuge. That was a fortress. So there are people who go to church. That is one. That's a good thing. They have a problem and then they run to the church. They go to the place of prayer. This is okay. This is exactly what Joab did. And then the Bible says, King Solomon in verse 29 was told that Joab had fled to the tent of the Lord and was beside the altar. Then Solomon ordered Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, go strike him down. So Benaiah entered the tent of the Lord and said to Joab, the king says, come out. But he answered, now this is where Joab messed up. There are people there in the church. You are in the right place. You are serving in the ministry. You are serving in a department. You are having a business. You are having a job. God has blessed you with a job. So you are having a job. But the problem is your mouth. The problem is your words. You use words negatively. So look at what he did. He was holding the horns of the altar, but his mouth was not. He was holding the horns of the altar, but his words were opposite. He says, but he answered, no, I will die here. Who said that you have to die in that circumstance? Who said that that circumstance is your conclusion? Who decreed that that circumstance is your grave? It's your mouth that said it. He says, no, I will die here. So Benaiah reported to the king, this is how Joab answered me. I found Joab. I have seen him holding the horns of the altar. I told him, the king says, come out so that I can strike you. And then he says he's not going to come out. He's going to die there. Look at how the king responded. Then the king commanded Benaiah. Listen to these words of the king. Do as he says. Strike him down and bury him, and so clear me and my whole family from the guilt of innocent blood. You see that? So this man was holding the horns of the altar very well. He ran to church. He was in the church. He was in the choir. Can you imagine? Somebody is in the choir. Somebody is in prison worship. Someone is in the marketplace selling. You already have an idea, and this idea is going, has potential to really rescue you. But the problem is that you do not understand that wherever place that you are and whatever destiny that you carry, your words are a magnet. So what he spoke when he said he's going to die there, the King Solomon said, do as he says. You are a product of your words. Even when you're stressed up, Pastor, I was stressed up, I was depressed, I didn't know what I was talking about. Do you remember the man of God, Samson? So Samson is entertaining the Philistines because he's been arrested and detained, and then he makes a bad prayer. He says, let me die with the Philistines. That's exactly what happened. He died with the Philistines. even at the point where God intended to show him mercy. How do I know that God wanted to show him mercy? The Bible says that when he was between those two pillars, his hair began to grow again. It was a show of mercy, but his words killed him before his time. He was not supposed to die. Even though he had fallen, even though he had compromised at that point, yet at that point, because he cried unto God, mercy was redirected to him. But his words were a magnet that pulled the undesirable to him. Your words are a magnet. Use them carefully.